Look how many cough drops there are on this table.
All of them. All of them.
They're the best cough drops. They're absolutely fantastic.
We make the best cough drops.
We make the best cough drops. We buy only the top of the top cough drops.
Oh, made in China.
They're the top tier cough drops from China. Who's full of great people. Love that China, except for their trade deals.
A lot of people are looking into cough drops these days. They ask me, I hear people say, hey, these cough drops, top-notch cough drops.
What's Jimmy Fallon gonna do when he's out of office? Because literally every single monologue he does has a Trump it has something that they pulled from the news.
See, I have the opposite concern.
Gold.
What happens when he declares himself king and there's no longer criticism allowed of him, and then the late night shows are just going to be awful.
Yeah, they're just gonna be like, "Can we say this?"
There's a guy standing with a rifle off camera. Nope, I can't say that. Legal is telling me that that's not allowed. Good morning and welcome to the newly christened Ian Michener Show. I am your host, Ian Michener. I have the pleasure of being joined today by Luke Eccles, president and founder of Red Bearded Marketing. Luke, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Could you tell us a little bit about Red Bearded Marketing?
Sure. We are a digital marketing agency based out of, I live in the Berks County area, so I'm just a roamer.
Okay.
A little bit of a digital gypsy, I guess. We do website design, social media marketing, branding, SEO, search engine optimization, for those of you who don't know what that is. That's usually the top question that I get.
Fair enough.
Repeatedly from the same people. But some commercial filming. It's basically anything doing with your branding. That's how I help small to medium-sized businesses.
Okay, and what motivated you to start this company up?
I grew up in a family of entrepreneurs. My dad was a chiropractor. Shattered his wrist in a car accident. Of course, most chiropractors then go and buy restaurants.
Okay.
Sure. So I grew up in the restaurant business, working 20 hours a week in middle school, high school, and so really got to see what it was like to be a business owner on the ground floor.
Okay.
And I worked many jobs. Once I went from dishwasher to owner at one point of owning my own location.
Nice.
And really got to open during the recession.
Oh, perfect time.
Yeah,
Perfect
so,
time.
if there's one thing you get to learn as a business owner is you get to learn how to fail.
Makes sense.
Makes
sense.
And people don't remember your failures if you get it right one time.
That's a great mantra to have, I think, particularly as a small business owner.
Yeah, so owned a couple businesses, joint ventures with my father, went out on my own, worked too many different jobs, sales jobs, and the last job I'll ever have was with a company called 1&1, doing outside sales, selling small do-it-yourself websites, and then I helped start a maintained by experts where they would do all the website updates. And it's funny because I'm a musician by background. That's really what I wanted to do growing up, and MySpace came into play.
Okay.
Early, right around after I was in college. And if you were to tell me 12, 13 years ago now with MySpace, that learning how to navigate that would one day pay my mortgage, pay my bills, would be your career, I would have laughed at you and told you to put your tinfoil hat back on and go back to the space people. But I worked for the website design company, and I ended up doing most of the website design, and then moving into 2011 with social media. Business owners, the ones that I had, started realizing, hey, some of the other business owners we know that are in our industry are working with their Facebook and working with social media, and they're getting a lot of business from it. We don't have time to do that. We don't know what to do. We don't know where to start. And because I had done such a great job with the website and and just on my end, putting in that groundwork, I had 5 or 6 clients that hired me while I was at 1-on-1, and I ended up stepping out and like never looking back. So.
Gotcha. So it was the combination of MySpace and the work that you were doing with 1-on-1 that kind of dragged you into the social media marketing and the digital marketing side of things?
Yeah, it was funny because the first client that asked me to do it was kind of a pain, and so the first time.
And I'm sure that client knows who they are, but
Yeah, I mean, they're not even in business anymore.
Okay.
Proof is in the pudding with that. So, but like the first time they asked me, I was just like, I don't want to do that. That sounds horrible.
Right.
That's going to be such a pain. And then when I had like some really good clients ask me, I was like, all right, like, oh, I could do this with that. It started making sense. So it was a very organic thing. But at the same time, I was thinking about going on my own. I wanted to own my own business. I wanted to get back to owning a business, and I was just kind of like, well, I'm not going to step out and do something I don't like.
Makes perfect sense.
So I was very receptive to keeping that filter open for an opportunity.
Okay.
So I mean, that's something I always tell people that are entrepreneurs that are looking to start a business or possibly start a business is, look for that pain that people are having and where you can fill that need if you enjoy it. Because if you don't enjoy it, you're gonna burn out.
Identify a problem and present solutions to it. Certainly, absolutely. So when did you get started with Red Bearded?
I incorporated, I believe it was 2013.
Okay.
So I was making too much money to not incorporate.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I mean, I was just lucky because I was working a job that fed into the company I started.
Okay.
So
Awesome.
yeah.
You mentioned Facebook, and we are all aware of the ubiquity of Facebook. Are there any other platforms that you advocate for business owners to participate in terms of social media marketing, that kind of thing?
I always get asked, like, should I be doing, I've got Facebook, but should I be doing Twitter? Should I only be doing this? And I always say, like, you should be doing it all.
Okay.
It's your business is your legacy, and your online presence is your footprint.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you're building a foundation for your business, like, the more the better.
Okay.
And I mean, that's really where I come in, because a business owner, if I'm working with a mechanic, they're usually not tech savvy when it comes to computers and everything. Like, how many hours is it going to take them to figure out how to properly set up their Facebook, do posts, take pictures? Like, you want to leverage your time as a business owner.
And I would imagine at the end of the day, they're not going to know exactly how to highlight their business the same way that you would. That would attract people to either the brick and mortar location or just the website, or any other venue where they're offering their goods or services.
Right, and that's one of the things I really I enjoy about myself and what I do for my clients is I help them really think about how to tie in this new technology that's always changing. I mean, Facebook is changing their algorithm. Almost every 2 weeks this year.
Oh, really? Okay.
People are really upset over it because it's really hard. It's really hard to gain some traction without paying for ads on Facebook now.
Which I imagine is exactly what Facebook is
Right.
designing itself.
Right.
They're trying to create their own ad
Right.
revenue at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I mean, one of the things that I teach my clients, and sometimes they're receptive to learning it and doing it, and sometimes they're not, is there are still a couple organic things that business owners can do
Okay.
to get in front of those people that haven't seen them without paying for an ad. One is reviews.
Right. Makes sense.
So it's very, I approach marketing in very simple ways. I try to get my clients to be as authentic about their business and themselves as possible, because that's how I run my business.
Absolutely.
And one of the things is, don't be afraid to ask.
Okay.
So you have a client, they're really happy with the service. Thanks for, I'm glad we could help you. Can you leave us a review on Facebook and Google right now?
Gotcha. And most people, unprompted, will not be motivated to do that for a positive experience. Certainly,
They won't even think about it.
The negative experiences will go right up on you.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and that's where I actually get a lot of clients is they've neglected their online presence because they didn't take it seriously.
Gotcha.
This is what my kids are doing. I'm not on that stuff.
Mhm.
They get one bad review. They have no reviews.
Yep.
So now the only thing that is their online presence is a bad review, which can easily happen,
Yeah,
and they
absolutely.
freak out. And I understand you feel emotional about it. So, and that's where I even have clients where I've been working with them for 2 years and they'll get a bad review
Mhm.
and they freak out. And I'll say, Mike, you've been paying me now for 2 years. You have 50 outstanding reviews on Facebook. That review, I know you're upset about it. I know you, like, Mike was like, I want to take the whole thing down. Let's burn it to the ground. I said, Mike, this is what we've built. It didn't even affect your ratings.
Right.
In fact, having that negative review, I think, makes it look a little bit more authentic because it's not 55 to
Glowing
4-star.
reviews.
Yeah. So you take that approach, but it's crazy nowadays if you neglect your online presence. I mean, it can that's a case of something that can really hurt your online presence.
No, I'm sure most of the people out there have been going through Yelp trying to pick a restaurant or something, and there are 5 reviews and they're all 1 stars. That's doesn't bode well, and that's probably not going to drive any traffic to your
Right.
place. Where if you have 100 5-star reviews and 10 1-star reviews, it'll still people say, "Wow, this is a really popular place that predominantly does a good job."
Right.
So, in terms of the different platforms, there are things like Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter.
Mhm.
Do you recommend different clients trying to take advantage of different things? Because I imagine someplace like a food truck would be really predisposed to something like Instagram and Twitter, where you can do the geolocation and kind of do little local shout outs and, hey, come visit it right here and throw some pictures of the food up, that kind of thing.
Yeah, video now is huge. The internet is comprised of, I think the statistics are 85% video.
Wow.
Of course, some of it's adult related, but probably like 55%.
Yeah, probably.
But people are really. I'm just telling. That's the thing that I'm really honing in on, and it's hard to get my clients to get comfortable in front of a camera.
Okay.
I'm a very outgoing guy, so for me to get in front of a camera, I'm a musician. I'll play on stage. I'll play in front of 5 people. I'll play in front of 1,000 people. It doesn't matter.
Gotcha.
But video is huge now. That's what really gets you traction on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Instagram is really popping right now. It's for right now.
Right.
So, I mean, and that's the thing is, as a business owner, it's, like, the time is always now.
Right.
And I get asked, maybe their business Snapchat isn't going to be the best thing for them,
Mm-hmm.
but I always tell business owners, you should try it.
Okay.
Because the way those platforms work and they navigate is probably going to be a precursor for the next big thing that might really be related to your business.
Okay.
So, and I tell businesses, listen, if you're not getting involved with your social media and your website now, like, how hard is it going to be in 5 years?
Yeah.
I mean, we are progressing so fast with all of this that if you aren't laying the ground levels right now, you're in trouble.
Closing the barn door after the horses run out, so to speak.
Exactly.
Do you see any, I mean, you may not feel comfortable weighing in on this, but do you see any current technologies just becoming the dominant forum, or do you think that there are any out there that are just flashes in the pan that aren't even really worth investing time in as a business owner?
I mean, I think the main ones are Facebook, which I think business owners are really scary enough really waking up to.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it depends on where you're at. Berks County is like 15 years behind. I'm not kidding, but that being said, I feel like it's pre-gold rush for anybody that wants to get a website and get some search engine optimization.
Gotcha.
Like, I have a client that does fencing contract. He's a fencing contractor. I've been working with him for a small budget of just like, he was doing just an hour of SEO a month to now it's 2, and I have him popping up in like 40 different towns for different keywords, and because nobody else is doing it.
Gotcha.
So, it depends on where you're at. If you're in Philadelphia, yeah, you're probably oversaturated. But I mean, places like Berks County, it's just, there's so much opportunity right now before like that area starts really grabbing onto. I mean, they're using everybody has smartphones there.
Right. But they're still on the cusp of going to the phone book for business,
They're still paying Yellow Pages, and they're still paying for billboard advertising, which is funny because if you look at when I was in Florida last year, I would say like 8 out of 10 people were driving with their phones in their faces.
Yeah.
I mean, I see it around here, but I felt like Florida was like really predominant. So billboard advertising is ridiculously expensive. Probably not as expensive as it was 15 years ago. Same with Yellow Book pages. But people aren't even looking, they're looking at their phones while they're driving.
Yeah.
They're not even looking at the roads.
Right.
So
Much less a billboard offset from
billboard,
the side of the road.
and most billboards now are digital. So your ad is changing. So, it's yes, it's going to cost money to get yourself up in social media and online, but for the cost ratio compared to what it used to be 10, 15 years ago, like I remember my dad owned a very successful restaurant, Pizza Peddler in Westchester. He was paying, I think, almost close to $2,000 a month for Yellow Book pages.
Yikes.
I mean, he had the big ad in the front.
Right.
He had half-page ads. He had the small ads. He was doing the boosters. He was spending close to at least $5,000 a month, putting money back into the business. Again, some business owners don't have that budget.
True.
But he got the return on that investment. Like $1,000, $500 nowadays, with going towards your online advertising with SEO, Facebook, boosting posts, just having somebody run it and do it efficiently.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's easier to track than billboard advertising.
Absolutely.
I mean, like, you get to see people responding. You can get, if you're following the advice I give you, it's really easy to see people interacting and seeing those leads turn into business. Especially with the organic things I teach my clients, like getting reviews, getting their clients to check in when they come in.
Right.
There's still those few things that Facebook has allowed to show up in everybody's feed that you're friends with,
Right.
and you need to take advantage of it while it's still there.
Makes perfect sense. So, of all the clients that you work with, I guess what is the most common industry that you have clients coming to you about?
Sure. I work with, any industry. I've had people ask me, like, well, have you done stuff for lawyers? Have you done stuff for this? And it's like, it doesn't matter. You feed me the content. Like, it's not, unless we're getting somebody to write your content, that's a different story. But I've been doing really well with the trades. So, like, contractors, just people that are in that hands-on blue-collar space, because right now it's all about content.
Right.
And one of the things I teach my clients is how to create content.
Okay.
And it doesn't take much time out of their schedule. In fact, it should boost your ego and boost your self-esteem, because if you're a contractor, you finish up a great remodeling job, a kitchen, you want to show that off.
Oh, I'm sure.
And I'm going to teach you how to show that off. And then I'm going to help you show it off.
And showcasing that they're subject matter experts, certainly, and
Yeah.
as you said earlier, the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah.
In terms of the end product, the end result that they're able to deliver.
Exactly.
Gotcha. I guess what would be the ideal client for you in that sense?
Contractors, they're used to having a budget for advertising, and they're used to not getting a great bang for their buck.
Okay. And you can, I imagine, turn that around pretty quickly once they start seeing that traction on
I
leads.
usually get a call within the first month, and they're like, "What the hell are you doing?" And not in like a mad way.
Yeah.
It's
How
like,
have you done this?
yeah, and it's just like, well, I'm actually working on your SEO for the website. We're showcasing the pictures and the videos, on your social media, on the website. It's just like they're used to paying Yellow Book pages or some sort of like digital, not even digital, like there's a bunch of, I don't want to name too many names, but like there's a bunch of different bigger companies out there where they're paying $500 and they're maybe getting like one keyword term for SEO, whereas I could probably work on like 4 or 5 for you for that budget, plus throw in some social media I'm a smaller operation. You're not just a number. I'm also, the one thing that really sets me apart is I've worked in so many industries, and I've been a small business owner. I know the questions to ask. And if a business isn't asking you questions, they're not going to be able to set up a proper website that's going to track clients and get people to, just because you have a website nowadays, it's not enough.
Absolutely.
What that website does, how it functions, how it's pulling in leads or customers that are interested, that's a whole nother ballgame.
All right.
And a lot of people that are in my industry are usually an IT background.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do IT work. I hate that stuff. It's not my specialty.
Okay.
Most IT guys, they can technically build a website. Or like coders, they can technically build a website.
Whether it's appealing or accomplishes what you want
right.
to accomplish are different questions.
And yeah, and the big thing is they don't ask those questions like, well, what clients are you looking to attract?
Mm-hmm.
They aren't asking those marketing questions. They aren't building from a marketing perspective. So there are a lot of people in my industry that's where they're at. It's like, yeah, they can build a website, but they're not on the marketing end. And for me, it's kind of bringing everything together, because I always have clients that ask, well, what makes my business pop up in search engines, and I only have to do this and that, right? And I'm like, no, there's like 500 different things.
Okay.
It's kind of like your online presence is almost like a car. It's not just the wheels that make it go. You got the engine, the frame, the whole. It's.
That's a wonderful analogy.
Yeah.
Actually. Yeah. Makes perfect sense. So, other than the organic recommendations that you give to clients, and obviously other than just retaining your services,
Sure.
What are some things that a small business owner can do to distinguish themselves and to market themselves, given the glut of online information that we're always inundated with anytime we open up our phones or computer? How do you recommend folks find that niche or attract that perfect client?
Sure. Again, goes back to some of my basic core principles is be authentic. So one of the things that I did a video on recently is got people that are in the financial financial advisors in that financial industry. Their hands are really tied when it comes to being able to use social media, what they put on their website. I mean, it's ridiculous.
The compliance overlords are very strict.
I have a client, Bill McKinley, and we get emails after they've told us to put certain things on his Facebook, and like a month later, they want us to change it. And it's already something that was on his website that was already approved, but it's insane.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I'll get these financial advisors that will come and ask me, like, should I be doing this? But the industry is basically, they've gotten so fed up with it that sometimes they get lazy and they're just, well, I just can't do anything.
Gotcha.
And I like to be the devil's advocate and say, well, yeah, you can't post about facts and figures and numbers. I go, but you have any hobbies?
That's an interesting take. Yeah, absolutely. Showcase their human side at the very
and
least.
that's the thing about social media marketing is you don't have to be bombarding your clients with things about your business all the time. In fact, you shouldn't.
Okay.
It's like the 80-20 principle, I call it, is 80% of your posts, I call it because they call it fluff.
Mm-hmm.
But you can make that fluff interesting, and it drives traffic to your social media, to your website.
Right.
And then the 20% is, hey, if you're an attorney, hey, we're looking for divorcees.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times, when they're getting divorced, either the husband or the wife takes the family lawyer, and they don't know who to go to.
Okay.
So, you're using those different commercials, either in video form or a post. So, that is where I give people advice is, like, listen, if you're into kayaking, you're a financial advisor, take some videos and pictures on the weekend when you're doing it. Like, there are other people that are into that, and they'll find you, like, oh, this guy's a financial advisor, this is cool. It's a very, the social media marketing and online presence, sometimes it's very counterintuitive.
Okay. I imagine part of it is just getting the viewer of the content to identify with either the organization, the individual, whatever it might be, because I never really thought about that. oh, what a cool video of this guy going down the Schuylkill. Let me check out his website. Oh, he works for Raymond James. How neat is this? I should give him a call. And never really considered it that proverbial foot in the door of the traveling salesman, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, especially there's another platform I haven't mentioned, and I feel like it's very undervalued, is LinkedIn.
Okay.
I feel like a lot of people it's one of those platforms that people aren't taking seriously.
Mm-hmm.
And a great way to set yourself aside is, amongst all the people posting about job interviews and articles to read, I get some great traction from just posting, hey, here's a video clip from the concert I played this weekend.
Okay, cool.
Here's the music video my band released.
Right.
It has nothing to do with Red Bearded Marketing.
Mm-hmm. But all the same, that is you doing your job. That is you marketing yourself, and it's an interesting kind of very meta, certainly.
And like I said, it's counterintuitive because everybody for the last 100 years has been like, stay professional.
Yes, that was going to be my next question. Actually, do you find that you have to kind of strip off the veneer for some of your clients of saying, yes, I understand that we're going to present you as polished and professional, but at the same
Right.
time, we want to show who you are as there's a person behind this entity at the end of the day.
It really, at the end of the day, it's a comfort level with the client.
Okay,
For me, I don't care what people think.
gotcha.
When I sit down, I'm in a quiet room, there's one voice in my head.
Yeah.
It's mine.
Okay.
And that's how I function.
Gotcha.
And, if you're always worried about what other people are thinking, it's a dichotomy. I care what everybody thinks at the same time. I don't give a shit.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So it looks like we're coming just about to the top of the half hour. How are folks going to get a hold of the Red Bearded Marketer?
You can Google Red Bearded Marketing. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. I've got a YouTube channel. Facebook, of course. I do not have a Snapchat yet. I might do that. We'll see.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I mean, I'm everywhere online that I should be. Maybe some places I shouldn't be.
Fair enough. Any parting words of wisdom for any small business owners out there, or any individual that's contemplating using your services?
Stop contemplating and do.
Excellent.
Whether you're going
Excellent.
with me or not, stop contemplating and do.
That's fantastic. Luke, thank you so much for joining us, Red Bearded Marketing, and thank you all out there for joining us at WFYL 1180 AM.